Hey. Oh. Ooh. Hey. It's your boy. Hey everybody, Tyler McVicker, formerly Valve News Network, currently the Passionate Gamer, and we're back in Russell's lab for another episode of Letting Off Steam. It's been a little while since we've done one of these, and I'm sorry for the delay, but I've had a lot of other things going on. A lot of other things that I've been working on, and I'm glad that we're back with another episode of Letting Off Steam, my podcast AMA show that I try to do at least once a month, depending on what's been going on. And yeah, all you got to do, 2 ways to ask questions. You can send me an email at tylernewsnetwork@gmail.com. I repeat that, tylernewsnetwork@gmail.com. Or you can ask a question in a super chat, which will get it prioritized as the next question asked following its super chat askness, if that makes any sense. So we are going to be answering, as we normally do, the emailed questions chronologically. And this stream was supposed to happen yesterday at 4 p.m. And my wife, Electra, had asked me to go grocery shopping, and that led to me going to 3 different grocery stores. So here we are. I just couldn't make it. I was out of the house doing some chores. You know how it goes. All my married viewers out there. No, it's a give or take. It's a job. So, all right. Let's crack open a drink of choice. Let's crack our fingers. Let's get to answering some questions about the games industry that I may or may not have pertinent information related to. All right, let's go! All right. So, how's all y'all doing? This month was, January was fruitful. I did a lot of stuff. There was a lot of stuff that happened. We got those leaks. We got a lot of shit happening, to be honest. It was a crazy month. So, hi, how are you? Hi, hello. Wonderful weather we're having. And, I'm also having a couple conversations with a couple different people. So, in case you're unaware, there was some Portal 2 stuff leaked. It's not that interesting, and to be honest, it's not that great that it leaked in the first place. It's a gold version of Portal 2 given out to repository holders. Doesn't really have that much in terms of cut content or things that we haven't seen before. So, I don't know. There's also compiled DLLs of f-stop floating around. There are assets from Portal 2 rumored to be floating around. Nothing from Left 4 Dead for some reason. And, you know, there's all that. I am working on a video about what hasn't leaked in relation to Team Fortress 2, as one of my colleagues, Richter Overtime, had mentioned that this was it. This was the last of the stuff. There's nothing more that can be learned. And that's not entirely true. There is still a significant amount of content that was developed for Team Fortress 2 that we don't have. And, you know, it could be out there somewhere, you know? So, whatever. How you guys doing? Well, I'll make a video about that. And so, what else? You know, the Portal 2 leak did not have any VMFs. You know. Anywho. Hi, how are you? I'm Tyler McVicker, formerly of Valve News Network, and we're going to be answering some of your questions. Remember, you can send in questions over the email. It is tylernewsnetwork@gmail.com, or you can do a super chat and get your question answered as soon as possible. This first question is from Yuri. Hey Tyler, huge fan, thank you. The current iteration of Half-Life 3, or HLX, is the current iteration of HL3, the furthest development a Half-Life 2 sequel we've ever gotten. It has been almost 3 years after Half-Life Alyx shipped, and apparently the game is still being worked on, which means it can already have cool things in it, mechanical or otherwise. Thank you for your time, keep good work. No, it is not. The furthest Half-Life 3 ever got was in 2015, with the post-human stuff. I've made a couple videos on it. We're about due for a much better explanation on what post-human was, but that one was like playable to an extent. HLX is not Valve's main concern, is not a project that has the majority of Valve's talented game developers on it. That would be Neon Prime, aka Citadel. Then HLX is really just like a... I would still say HLX is in pre-pro or like pre-alpha stage. Like, it's not to the point where you would have really cool mechanics or story beats, especially not story beats, planned out. I mean, I don't want to, like, you know, take the wind out of your sails or ruin your hype there, but I will say that unfortunately, Citadel has been Valve's main concern since Half-Life Alyx wrapped in the summer of 2020. And although HLX has been something that's been tossed around, it's not really... it's not a main concern, and Valve doesn't have the kind of worker base, the number of people working for them, in order to be able to, you know... They don't have the number of people to be able to properly maintain two major single-player AAA development teams, while also maintaining Steam and their hardware projects and their multiplayer projects and all that stuff. So, yeah, no, unfortunately not. We could talk a lot about HLX. There's some stuff that, you know, I have learned some stuff since the last time we've discussed HLX, but, you know, well, unless somebody, you know... It's from Jacob. Hello, Tyler. I hope you're doing well. I have two questions. What do you think Neon Prime and HLX will debut? I think it would be totally possible for us to officially learn about Neon Prime this year. And HLX, like I said, is pre-pro, pre-alpha. Like, there's no way to know. There's a lot of interesting stuff that could be said about HLX, but not enough to be able to predict a release date or a release time frame. That's just not possible given our current condition. Hey, Tyler, when do you think HLX parentheses HL3 will be released? Well, there's not enough information to really be able to predict a timetable or a release time for something like HLX, since Citadel is the main product that Valve is focusing on outside of their hardware, outside of CSGO for Source 2, outside of Steam, and outside of the few people that are still working on Dota 2. Jonathan, will Cyberpunk's 2.0 update also bring branching choices and consequences to the base game, as well as more immersive stuff like what modders have been doing for the last few months? Okay. So effectively what you're asking is, will there be new choices to the base game story in Cyberpunk 2.0's update? No. It is very possible you could be seeing that within Phantom Liberty, and I want to make sure that y'all understand that Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk 2.0 are two different things, right? Phantom Liberty is the free update that we'll be releasing alongside Phantom Liberty. 2.0 is the free update that'll be releasing alongside Phantom Liberty. 2.0 is a mechanically focused thing. That's where you get, you know, changes to your transmog system, vehicle combat, police overhaul, AI overhauls and optimizations to general performance and things. You know, the kind of stuff that we just got. So, like, a mechanical update happened yesterday with DLSS 3.0 and NVIDIA Reflex. That's a mechanical update, and it's free. Phantom Liberty is going to absolutely rebuild Pacifica from the ground up as a player's perspective, and you could very easily see expansions to the Pacifica quest lines that already exist, such as the Voodoo Boys stuff at the mall. You also could very well see a few street stories or gigs, side hustles that could end up intersecting with things in the base game itself. We do have confirmation that Dream On won't be getting an expansion in this game from the creator of that quest line. So that's fine. Yeah. So to answer your question, there will be new branching choices, but that will be in Phantom Liberty. As for more immersive stuff like what modders have been doing in the last few months, yes, that's what 2.0 is going to have. You're going to have vehicle combat, a police system overhaul, AI overhauls, and is it possible that in 2.0 we could end up seeing some of that to the guy who's been doing the immersive bartenders and the immersive food vendors and the immersive ripper docs, an amazing series of mods. Could we end up seeing something like that officially? Yeah. Yeah. Everybody in chat, let's hear a... yeah, I expect that we'll be hearing something about 2.0 and Phantom Liberty within the next few months, and seeing a release in mid to late summer of this year. We got a $5 super chat from Xander. Do you think anything will come from Team Fortress again? I know a new update is unlikely, but could it be given new developers? Is there hope for TF2? Okay, I recommend you watch the latest video that I put up about the Valve documentary. Team Fortress 2 is a game that came out in 2007. That's going on 16 years ago. Valve judges everybody based on the value that they're creating in their day-to-day work. And that value is very subjective. That value is very much based on opinions of your other workforce, right? I've heard horror stories of people working on things like mobile Source 2 and getting fired, only for them to turn around and use that stuff later. Like, it doesn't matter. If a person were to actually come up and start at Valve, get the job, go through the rigorous, interviewing process, and then try and start getting a Team Fortress 2 update for the actual Team Fortress 2 game off the ground, that's not going to look very good. Now, the utilization of the franchise is still very much something a lot of people would like to see because there's value in that franchise. The issue is, and Gabe Newell has said this many times, it's that, in order to be able to properly utilize a franchise, you need an idea to adhere to that franchise. And unless Valve wants to just kind of redo or retread ground that they've already done in the past, and just make like a straight up CSGO TF3, it wouldn't fly because no one would actually want to put something like that out. You would want to have something that like reinvents what it does. And that's difficult to put forth. Now, you could end up seeing third parties utilize the Team Fortress franchise, and in fact, you are seeing that with Team Deathmatch Classic, being fully licensed out by Valve, being supported by Valve, and you could be hearing about that within the next year. Eon is very tight-lipped about TDC. However, the few things that I have seen from TDC would blow the TF2 community's minds, and maybe that could fill the void for a while. You have mods like Pre-Fortress 2 and Open Fortress and TF2C kind of trying to take the reins from Valve, and their silence has allowed them to continue doing that kind of thing. However, they did promise some kind of tools and things allowing them to They have had tools, and they did promise tools and trying to get these mods on Steam, and then pulled back almost immediately. So the Team Fortress franchise is still very much something that Valve sees as hugely valuable, and a lot of people that actually work at Valve, individual personalities, love. The issue that you run into is exactly how can you do something with that franchise that would pass the litmus test of the old heads, of the shadow arm, your Robin Walkers, your Greg Coomers, your Dave Grillers, on all of them. So I would love to see a new update. Thank God for Joshy. Thank God for Joshy. TGFJ. Let's get some TGFJs in the chat. Thank God for Joshy. In case you're unaware, Joshy is like a 20-year-old contractor who's currently working at Valve, and is the one doing most of the really interesting bug fixes in Team Fortress 2, in slight collaboration with Eric Smith. But as far as I can tell, Eric Smith's main concern is not Team Fortress 2. So, like, the V-scripting stuff, that was all Joshy, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? But TGFJ, man, TGFJ. What are you going to do? But I hope that answers your $5 super chat question as well as I possibly could. So I also got permission from Joshy to be able to say Joshy's name publicly. I DM'd Joshy and was like, yo, I've just been calling you, the contractor. Can I say it's Joshy? And Joshy was like, absolutely. I appreciate that you asked. So don't feel like I'm doxing anybody. I got permission to say it's Joshy. I do think it's a little bullshit that they're making a 20-something try and fix the bot problem almost entirely by themselves with, like, periodic help from Eric Smith. I feel like you should put a few more people on something like that, but then again, it is kind of it's a war of attrition, Hackers and bad actors are... hackers is not the right word, but bad actors are always gonna find a way to do something. Shout out to Lynn's kids. All right. Oh my God. All right. A longtime follower of mine party escort bot has sent me 17 questions. And some of these questions are multi-part. Everybody say TMI, beans. TMI, bean boy. Everybody say TMI, bean boy. €2 from Lucien Marenber. I love your stuff, dude. Really, thanks for your work. TMI, bean boy. TMI, bean boy. TMI, bean boy. Oh, that doesn't work. TMI, bean boy. TMI, bean boy. Okay, I'll see how many of these I can answer. $4.99 from Beyond Crits. Where do you VR going in the future with the release of PSVR 2 and a potential new Valve headset? The potential new Valve headset is still years off, and may never come to fruition. PSVR 2 had to completely slash their projected sales. It's not even getting the pre-orders that they wanted. VR is dying, and unfortunately, that is partially Valve's own fault. That's all I'll say about that. It's like Valve is not working on any exclusive VR software. No one in the AAA space is really working on exclusive VR software. It doesn't look good for VR, and that is partially Valve's fault. Okay, Bean Boy, let's get to your questions. Hey, Tyler, hope you're doing good. This year's hardly started, and it's already pretty chaotic. You're completely right. Hi-Fi Rush is a 10 out of 10. Pizza Tower is a 10 out of 10. The new SpongeBob game, 7 out of 10. It could be an 8.5 out of 10, but there are some bugs that I want to address, and I might make a video about it. Anywho, I have a bunch of questions, some factual answers, some subjective, some speculative. Feel free to answer whichever ones inspire you the most and haven't already been answered earlier in the stream. I categorize them for your convenience as well. TMI, Bean Boy. Number 0. Why is it 0? Kago. When I say Kago, I'm talking about the Source 2 port of CSGO. Calling it Kago is an inside joke on my Discord server. Question 0. Why is Valve making Kago? As in, what triggered Valve to want to make it? It seems like the type of project the fans all want Valve to consider to be value generating, doesn't it? Is it just to feel for flat screen FPS gameplay on Source 2? Is it all a front to get community feedback for HLX? See, that's... Question 0 is 4 or 5 questions by itself, Bean Boy. What are you doing, Bean Boy? Why are they making it? Originally, it started as just a test to see if things could be ported from Source Engine to Source 2. What triggered Valve to make it? Source 2's development. It seems like the type of product that the fans would all want, than the type of project Valve would consider to be value generating, doesn't it? A port to Source 2 is something that Valve has always wanted to do, because creating something like Counter-Strike Global Offensive on Source 1 is effectively like trying to create a modern AAA game on software that was developed for Windows 98. The Source engine, in its current state, is fucking awful to develop AAA shit on. So much so that the majority of the modern Valve-made CSGO development on Source 2 is using a bunch of external programs, like SketchUp and Source 2's own products and things like that. They're doing it not because, and this, I've said this like 1,000 times, but it's a myth that the move to Source 2 would immediately make the game, like, look and feel and sound better and effectively be like this massive remaster. No. In fact, it'll be a shittier version than the Source Engine version of the game for months. You know, CSGO is one of the few games in the entire world where the minute detail needs to be absolutely perfect, or you will be murdered by the competitive players of this scene. Do you remember the R8? Do you remember the backlash that one Revolver got for that one day it was out? Imagine that times a billion, because jumping is like 3 pixels higher than it used to be or some shit. It's gotta be perfect. The point of porting to Source 2 is allowing both Valve and the community creators to have Valve's Source 2 creation tools, which are some of the best in the entire industry, at their fingertips to create Source 2 content, Counter-Strike Global Offensive content. Is it just... So are they doing it to get a feel for FPS gameplay in Source 2? No. No. Citadel, are there any leads on the status of Neon Prime? It's still in development. If it's not canceled, why is Valve going so slow in what seems like the final phase of Neon Prime's development? From what I heard, they missed a milestone, scrapped some stuff, and delayed it internally. Is there any chance that your research and reports on Neon Prime has slowed Valve down? No. Has it been ascertained what strings belong to Citadel and what belong to HLX? Not entirely yet. That is a very difficult project. Does Neon Prime still involve controlling large numbers of bots or NPCs? In some aspects, kind of. It's been stripped down. Certain styles of play lean more towards that. That's what I'm going to say. Any chance that Neon Prime would feature derailing enemy trains as a battle mechanic? I don't know, but that would be cool. Any chance Neon Prime would feature a system in which the same team are winning multiple rounds in a row would result in some kind of overarching game win for that team? I don't know. The overarching game, as opposed to just like the smaller rounds within the game, I don't have a full understanding on. How likely is it that HLX is a VR Alex Pancake Gordon duel game? I don't know. I think that would be an amazing concept, whether it be two separate single-player campaigns or a co-op. It's something that Valve experimented with for a long time. Are there vehicles in HLX customizable aesthetically only? The vehicles in HLX are customizable to such an extent that it's almost like asinine how much control the engine has over it. Half-Life 3. This is pure speculation, but do you think there's any chance of Half-Life 3? I'm referring to Half-Life 3 separately from HLX on the off chance HLX might be something separate here. No. How would Valve possibly ensure that Half-Life 3 feels very different from Half-Life 2? Since they clearly like having new entries have a different feel to them. You see, that idea of like, they clearly like different entries have different feels. That's the difference between Half-Life 1 and 2. Ever since Half-Life 2's release in fucking 2004, going on 19 years, they've effectively used the same aesthetic for Half-Life. The same thing for Portal. They've been using the same aesthetic for Portal since 2011. Do you know what I mean? Whether or not they actually would do something different for Half-Life 3 is very unlikely due to how open-ended they've left the story for the last 15 years. What do you think of the idea of Half-Life 3's soundtracks using vocals? I've never seen it done before in Half-Life, but Portal and DMC games prove that well-placed vocal songs can be particularly iconic. That's such a weird... I don't know. Like, that's like asking me, like, how do I feel about Half-Life 3? You're asking me about Half-Life 3's soundtrack using vocals. I mean, that would be really out of place for the kind of game Half-Life is, so unless Half-Life 3, like, reinvents a lot of the aesthetic choices that Valve has kind of stuck to in the last 25 years, I don't know about that. What are you currently looking forward to most from Valve, Neon Prime? What are you looking forward to that's unrelated to Valve, at least not from them? Redfall... Phantom Liberty, Outer Worlds 2, Avowed, Starfield, you know, that kind of stuff. What does Electra think of the Half-Life Alyx achievement for killing a Combine grunt with their own gas tank? She has no idea. Why did she refuse to kiss you during the Crane stream? Because she's been biting her lips like crazy, and they're all like crusty because of it. $4 from McTwitty, and it's just a picture of a guy in a coffee cup giving me a thumbs up. Thank you very much for the $4. Next question. I answered all 17 of your damn questions, Bean Boy. You are suspended from asking questions, Bean Boy. You asked, like a year's worth of questions, Bean Boy. Alright, what do you think about Redfall's gameplay footage? I've been purposely avoiding it, because I want to go into it blind. I do have a standing date for... I have a standing appointment to play Redfall with Rafael Colantonio on Twitch. the co-founder of Arcane and the creative director behind Prey 2017, my favorite of Arcane's games, who left Arcane after Prey, and this is the first Arcane game that he really had nothing to do with at all. I asked if he wanted to play the game with me, and he said yes. So yeah, I'm not watching any of it. I want to go in as blind as possible. Do you have any big goals or projects for the Twitch channel, YouTube channel in general for yourself? Many, but I don't talk about projects anymore that aren't like set in stone. Will you ever do letting off steam with other people again? Yeah, if I have people that are interesting to do it with. I had one with Hugo Martin planned, but then the Mick Gordon stuff happened and they just kind of canceled all their outreach stuff across the board. HL356, €2. I think Valve gave up because no real competitor. That's just not true. How do you think about UEAK Crash trying to get Valve to do TF2 updates that aren't just Halloween or Christmas? This is the first I've heard about it. How do I feel about this? I mean, it would be cool to see, but I doubt it. I doubt Valve will do anything. You know, enjoy this picture. Okay. Next question. Hi, Tyler. I hope you have a good weekend. I'm excited to see Letting Off Steam's back. Not sure if I'll see it live. Okay, random questions. What's a pipe dream game project you'd like to see from New Blood? Right. That's a really good question. I would like to see New Blood try and do Half-Life. You know? I would like to see New Blood work with specific individuals to try and create their own Half-Like. Have you played Cultic? Yes, I have. It is incredible. It's strange that they released it the way they did. Instead of it being early access, it's episode 1 and then episode 2 is going to come out lately. How do you feel about the current state of indie games on Steam and more broadly? Unfortunately, it's difficult to have discovery when you're an indie game, and Steam Direct doesn't help. Steam is just inundated with so much shit nowadays that it's difficult for any of the real good stuff to rise to the top. And when it does, it's great, but you are competing against, like, a lot of porn and trolls and asset flips for attention. So, I think you've referenced a couple of long-term projects you're working on, specifically F-Stop, Something with It, and I feel like some others. Could you explain what's going on with those? No, it's my new thing. I don't talk about it. Sorry. What do the leaving of so many Valve employees mean for the company and their projects? Specifically, I remember Dario Casali saying something about being freer in one of his YouTube videos. Could that have just been leaving the company or not finishing a project? That was leaving the company. Yeah. I don't know what... I mean, I'm not Dario. I can't speak for him, but... I mean, Dario is just retiring. He was at Valve since before Half-Life 1 came out. He worked on Half-Life 1 and was there the whole time. So it's whatever. I don't know if... I mean, like, it's possible that that something got canceled, but that something would not be on Prime, so... spam email about Genshin Impact. Spam email about something else. Love your content. Looking forward to more mod lists and reviews. How's the Steam Deck review coming along? Pretty good. Alright, do you have any news, speculation, or predictions on the new Valve controller? And also, as a power user of the original Steam controller, I'm hoping for a controller that isn't just a Steam Deck with no screen. Unfortunately, that's really close to what you're going to end up getting. What are the chances that Valve could make two controllers, one being an update to the OG design and the other being a Steam Deck type controller? 0. You're getting 1. Hey Tyler, I hope you're doing good. Good to see Letting Off Steam back. Cool. My question... Oh, we got €5 from €5. Bleak Mill. Talking about Half-Likes, what about those builds I sent you, Tyler? Yeah, that's right, you did do that. Send them again, because I don't have them anymore. But Bleak Mill is the dev team behind Industria. Really good Half-Life. Ended really, out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, thanks to the €5, dude. German development team worked on a really good Half-Life taking place in like West and East Germany, alternate 1980s. Really good stuff. Way too short. Yeah, the devs behind the game sent me like 8 or 9 different development builds from different points in time, and some of them are really different. Like, the game at one point was more like static camera Resident Evil stuff. It would be an interesting... Yeah, it would be interesting. Why haven't I did anything with that? 'Cause I'm a terrible person, I suck at my job, and I have big man boobs. I love you, though. Did you see the Joe Rogan X CSGO leaked skin line? That's from Duke, $2 Canadian. No, I didn't, and I don't really give a shit. Hi, Tyler. Dirt is my name. Hello, Mr. Dirt. Because there has been no letting off steam for a long time, it's been since October, not a real long time. What is the state of VR support in Sandbox? Will we see future custom Half-Life Alyx content there instead? I want custom weapons and new enemies for Half-Life Alyx. Yeah, okay, so Sandbox is not going to be allowing for Half-Life Alyx content to be created for it, like how Gary's mod lets you create Half-Life 2 content for it. That's just not possible. You would have to redo everything from the ground up, and it would effectively just be remaking a bunch of different stuff. As for custom weapons and enemies for Half-Life Alyx, given our current tools, that's not really possible. I mean, it kind of is, but it's like... It's all done in V-scripting and not in engine. So... Why aren't you a news channel anymore? Because when people misquote me all the time, it's difficult to live a normal life without feeling like someone's going to show up to your house and murder you. Question 3. How is your relationship with Crows? Did they forgive you in the meantime? No. And I don't think I'm friends with Will anymore. And that fucking sucks, because Will's super cool. This is your boy Lint. Given the recent success of a few shadow drops like Hi-Fi Rush and that dang pizza game, some people are claiming that hype kills games. Cyberjunk, for example. Do you think Valve would ever shadow drop Neon Prime? Yep. I would speculate that maybe they were planning on doing that at some point, but then decided they needed to change some stuff up before ship. Just speculation, though. Do you think we'll actually get a Neon Prime release in 2023, or maybe just early access? Early access is far more likely. And I'm just saying we're going to hear about it in 2023. Nothing more. I don't know anything else. I got some questions about topics that I think you're interested in. Do you honestly think if Valve releases new projects, it'll be as successful as finding a big audience and not shutting down within a year? Huh? Do you honestly think if Valve releases their new projects, will be successful in finding a big enough audience and not shutting down within a year? They sound a bit hard to pitch and market to the masses the same way Half-Life 3 would be. Well, the only one that we're really dealing with is Neon Prime. And you're right, it's kind of a strange game. You see, the thing is, like, it's Valve, so they'll always be... Like, there are people... You can still find games of Artifact if you want. You know what I mean? It's Valve. There's always going to be an audience. But I get what you mean. I can't predict how the market will react or how Valve will react. You know? It would be interesting to see Valve fail again. I'm being serious. It would be very interesting to see how Valve would react if they failed again. At the same time, it would be very interesting to see if Valve was really successful with it. So who knows? Any news you've heard from CDPR regarding Cyberpunk? Do you still think there's a chance of getting a second DLC? There is absolutely zero chance of getting a second DLC. Project Orion starts immediately after Phantom Liberty releases. As for any new news, yes, but like not. It's mostly just right now. I'm mostly just working on trying to figure out what the fuck happened with the Witcher 3 next gen port. In certain capacities, like their DX12 implementation doesn't even seem to have DLSS work in any way, with no frame rate reduction, frame rate gain at all, regardless of settings. and they're just like some strange bugs, and like they were so vague in their what was I saying? Oh, yeah, it's just trying to figure out what they meant on their changelog, their patch notes, because their patch notes were terrible. But the next-gen stuff was interesting because all of the new content they added was really, really good. The new quest was amazing. Talked about it like it was this tiny thing just to get some armor. It's like, it's got 2 boss battles. It's like an hour and a half long. It's this big dungeon crawl. It's amazing. So I don't know. I really like the new Nilfgaardian armor. I'm playing through Witcher 3 again on my Steam Deck. It's amazing on the Steam Deck. But I'm playing it on DX11 with very specific, like 45 FPS lock, medium to high settings, ultra textures, TAU. See, the thing is, when you're using DX11, you can't use FSR, right? And you could use the system FSR by lowering the, but that's not as good. I would like to be able to have DX12 be far more stable on the Steam Deck so that I could use FSR 2.1 on the Steam Deck. 10 euros, 10 pounds sterling by Oopsie-daisy. I still think Artifact would have been a success if it was a Valve-themed card game. Correct. Different cards from all different franchises. Correct. Also, give me any Neon Blind plot / gameplay / whatever news, please. Massive map. Trains going across the map to be able to travel. Smaller games taking place over a much larger overarching game. Combine stuff. No dick sucking throughout the entire game, and I'm really disappointed about that. I want to see Combine dick sucking. I was wondering if there are people that can't handle turn-based RPGs, or I was wondering if you were one of those people that can't handle turn-based RPGs. No, I love turn-based RPGs. Fallout 1 and 2 are some of the best games ever made. I've played a lot, no, absolutely not. If you don't mind them, then have you player a Persona game. I just finished 3 and I loved it. Persona-fully. Yeah, I've played all the way through Persona 4 Golden a few years ago. I'm currently playing through Persona 5 Royale, and I'll go back and play Persona 3 soon-ish. The rumor is, however, they're doing a full-on remake of Persona 3, so I don't know if I'll stick around. Any Starfield release date predictions? Next year! Next year! These fake Genshin Impact spam emails. Tyler, Ultimate Beginner's mod list mod conflict. Yeah, unfortunately, the new update broke the entire mod list, so... Oh, another fuck... So, I obviously not a lot of people have to deal with this, but there are a lot of people scamming on emails for YouTubers, trying to steal YouTube channels by pretending to be sponsors for games. And so... Like, here's one. Greeting from N Night Games. We are a game studio and we'd be honored to have our advertisement featured on your YouTube channel. It's fake, So here's another one. Greetings. I am the PR manager of Supermassive Games. Supermassive Games Limited, a British company specializing in the development of computer games. We are interested in buying ads on your YouTube channel. It's signed by somebody named Matthew Supermassive. So annoying. So annoying. I get hundreds of these emails. Has there been any recent developments on Neon Prime, or has it still just been radio silence? There is a button you can press to change from a camera following third-person perspective to a top-down perspective. There. I was wondering what the leak pertaining to Day of Defeat source was. A bunch of shit. I'll eventually do that video. A bunch of unreleased maps, all of the source files and stuff. Lots and lots of cool stuff, man. if I die, something feels weird in my brain right now. If I fucking die, I love all of you. I love you, Electra. This might be something going on up here, but I'll try and answer as many questions as I can. Everybody's been talking about the TF2. This is from Gordon Freeman, by the way. Everybody's been talking about the TF2 leaks, which, fair enough, is the largest amount of content. But I haven't seen anyone talk about anything related to said games. Yeah, so, you see, that's just the thing. Team Fortress 2 gets clicks. There are videos about what was leaked in CSS or Data Feed Source or Portal or Half-Life or any of that, right? The issue is Team Fortress 2, for some reason, is absolutely loved by the YouTube algorithm. It just is. So, yeah, I mean, I've been slowly going through all those files and taking notes and stuff, but even me, I've been working on Team Fortress 2 stuff because I know it'll get a lot of views. I could make a video about all the unreleased Day of Defeat maps, and I will one day, but that's gonna get like 10,000 views total, whereas anything I do on TF2 will get over 100,000. You know what I mean? And I got a couple good TF2 ones, gotta say. Not to toot my own horn, but my horn be tootin'. Alright. Bro, please just tell me all the info about Half-Life 3 you know, please! Really? You really want to go there? You want me to talk about this shit so bad that you send an email that sounds like you're 5 years old. And your name is Anton. Anton, let me tell you something. Half-Life 3 information is the coup de grace of information in my industry. Finding Half-Life 3 information is like finding a gold mine. Nothing is better than that. So if I were to just give you all the information that I have about Half-Life 3, it would be like throwing away thousands of dollars. And Electra and I are trying to raise money to be able to move to Vancouver eventually. So with all that said, let me tell you everything I know about Half-Life 3 right now. Half-Life 3 was in development for 3 different iterations over the course of about 10 years. So, right after Portal 2, there was some time where they worked on Episode 3, but even before Episode 2 was out, they pretty much knew that that shit wasn't going to happen. So they took a break. They did the science fair. They worked on F-Stop. They worked on Portal 2. And then after Portal 2, they had a good thing going, so they tried Half-Life 3 again. It was in Source Engine. It was exactly what you would expect. It's, it's the Arctic. Who cares? But then they tried again on an early version of Source 2. This is around the same time Left 4 Dead 3 is in development. And I had a conversation with a Valve employee, one of my very first whistleblower moments that have since been fully confirmed, and the chat log of which is leaked by Max, the guy who tried to pin the CSGO and TF2 source code leaks on me after we kicked him from Lever Softworks for saying the N-word over and over again. So you can look it up if you want, but effectively I'll just run down the basics of Half-Life 3 2015. Gordon Freeman wakes up after a strange dream sequence that feels as if he's fighting against the Combine through the 7 Hours of War. Flashes of different gameplay seem to take place. Flashes of very traumatic events taking place. Deaths of characters that you know of. And it's very intense. It starts the game off very intensely. You see a couple of beloved characters dying in front of you in these things, these like flashes of life that take place. And as these flashes of life continue to happen, they fade into the distance, and a new scene, a static scene, seems to fade into existence. You're in what only could be described as a dilapidated cavern that was at one point lived in by people, like a place where people actually existed. But now it just seems like all human life is gone, and Earth has started to reclaim whatever was here. And there's a couple of things that end up happening. Number one, Gordon's missing an arm. Gordon's arm is replaced by some kind of robotic appendage with the Aperture Science logo on it. Not to take too long answering this question, but Gordon Freeman has awoken in Aperture Science, a dilapidated version of post-Portal 2 Aperture Science, and has this this robot arm attached to him. This robot arm allows Gordon Freeman to effectively utilize the Rubicon physics system within Source 2, and was the main thing that was driving Half-Life 3's development at this point. We're talking like 2013, 2014, 2015. And they really wanted to push what was possible with this new physics engine. In the same way that Havoc pushed the gravity gun and the development of Half-Life 2, Rubicon and this basic thermodynamic simulation arm thing that effectively turned Gordon into the last Airbender was the thing that pushed forward Half-Life 3. So, you know, he could control basic elements, you know, changing the temperature of objects, changing the size of objects. You know, some basic f-stop elements are being reutilized here because Valve realized that f-stop was not a very good puzzle-solving game thing, but it was a very good environmental puzzle-solving game to supplement something else. A bunch of stuff happens. Gordon escapes from Aperture Science and sees a city in the distance. It turns out Gordon somehow made it to the destroyed ruins of North America, and one of the few remaining urban centers that are still controlled by the Combine is in the distance. This is a very dark city that is still run by the Combine. Because of the events that had taken place, what had happened over 20 years later, they have an iron grip on everything, and the version of City 17 that you saw in Half-Life 2 felt like a vacation home compared to what actually existed now. Gordon hears of the rustlings of the remaining rebellion still existing in the outskirts of this city and rejoins them. However, at this point, it feels as if Gordon is a curse instead of the Messiah. Gordon seems like everything he touches dies, and you find out that Alex and Eli and Kleiner have all passed away because of their fighting within the last 20 years. Obviously, given how Half-Life Alyx turned out, this can no longer be considered canon. And hell, this was canceled like almost a decade ago. But the game had you trying to break out of the city, which effectively was almost just like a prison camp. You were accounted for. You could not leave. You were forced to do very difficult menial tasks just to pass the time. And humans themselves were almost used like a natural resource that were grown and then harvested for things to be able to benefit the Combine instead of, you know, supplement human life. So you eventually do try and figure out a way to escape, but pretty much everybody that you were traveling with dies in the process. You're now alone with the plan in the back of your mind that this rebellion had in mind, and that is, on the outskirts of City 17 is one of the dilapidated cremator factories. Your goal was to try and get to the cremator factory, reinstate all of the cremators, and try and get them to fight on your side to at least take over this city. So, as I was told, you would get up to the city, see it in the distance, and that was pretty much as far as they got. in the vertical slice that they were developing. The game got canceled because of some internal conflict. People wanted to work on VR. Everything that had taken place with Facebook at the time kind of threw a wrench into everything that they were developing. Valve had kept doing a bunch of these massive layoffs, and a couple of the higher-ups just didn't see value in continuing the traditional 2D first-person shooter and truly wanted to push everything towards virtual reality. So you had some of the basic concepts be recycled into E1, M1, and Hot Dog, and of course that turned into Half-Life Alyx at the end. But you also had stuff like the procedural generation quests, a far more, now I'm not going to say open world, but a far more open-ended, less straight point A, point B linear gameplay, different tasks that you could do for the Rebellion to make your own life a bit easier, whether that be through player progression or upgrade paths or anything along that line. However, the procedural generation stuff that was talked about in the final hours of Half-Life Alyx was for this version, and a lot of the game was focused on stealth more than straightforward combat. You had zip lines that you could place to get from point A to point B quickly. You had spy grenades, which were effectively little drones that you could throw into different rooms and see things happen unbeknownst to the Combine or your enemies. And it didn't go anywhere. I mean, it did go anywhere. It was the furthest Half-Life 3 ever got in development. There have been many, many different versions of Half-Life 3 in development, but when it comes to actual proper versions that had a playable demo at some point, it only happened 3 different times, not including HLX. And fortunately, Half-Life Alyx, along with Robin Walker's Drive, has allowed for more single-player content to exist at Valve Software, and we are living in a much better environment that will facilitate the development of video games more so than the wilderness that was spoken of beforehand. That doesn't change the fact that the diversity problem is still a legitimate problem, and that doesn't change the fact that the stacked ranking system that Valve subjugates onto every single one of their employees is fucking the worst thing you could possibly imagine. Valve is terrible with employee turnover, and so a lot of projects sometimes get lost to the employees that are just stack ranked out of the company. Anywho. Bro, please just tell me all the info about Half-Life 3 you know, please. Anton? Absolutely not. Hey Tyler, it's me again. First of all, does CSGO Source 2 releasing in February still hold? And what about TF2 and the Contractor? As I said, things are still happening. Read the thing again. C. Marty just said he is right. This Half-Life 3 had vertical slice of things. All the quests were made and even had an ending at a cement plant in the Outlands. That's exactly what I just said. 10 euros. Hey Tyler, I want to say thank you for your continued content around games. I started watching from my love of Half-Life a good number of years ago. Anyway, hope you're having a good day. Thank you, Ben Hubbery. And then 199 USD. Do you think Valve is still aware of Team Fortress 2 Classic? Of course, but they don't fucking care. Thank God for Joshy. What about the TF2 Contractor? Joshy's still working. Joshy's ass off. Thank God for Joshy. Next! All these Valve leaks, but where's that sweet, sweet Left 4 Dead beta content, baby? Left 4 Dead was created mostly, if we're talking Left 4 Dead 1, was created mostly in California by Valve South, aka Turtle Rock. The majority of the content that was developed for Left 4 Dead 1 would be on their repository, not on any kind of development repo that would be shared out to licensees. Left 4 Dead 2 is almost never licensed out, so it's almost impossible. Next. I'm curious if you have any new info on the status of Portal 3. It's ideas. It's just ideas floating in the ether. They're working on Neon Prime. They have HLX. And I hope y'all are okay. There's a tool that came out by 11 Labs that lets you replicate someone's voice with samples of your choosing, and it's personally the most accurate I've ever seen. Here are some examples from the MapLab servers with Half-Life 2 characters.
I'd like to take a moment to address you directly, Dr. Freeman. The sign is a subtle joke. The shop is called Sneed's Feed and Seed, where feed and seed both end in the sound eed, thus rhyming with the name of the owner, Sneed. The sign says that the shop was formerly Chuck's, implying that the two words beginning with F and S would have ended with uck, rhyming with Chuck. So when Chuck owned the shop, it would have been called Chuck's Fuck and Suck.
What? Ew. What?
Damn, bro, you got the whole combine laughing. Damn, bro, you got the whole combine laughing.
Could you perhaps explain in more detail what you're on the verge of finding?
It's not worth the risk right now. We need to figure out what the Combine's next moves are going to be and get a hold on this war while we have the chance.
What the fuck? What? How do I do that? How do I play with that? How do I work with that? That's amazing. Oh my god. AI voices. What the heck? Honestly, this one?
It's not worth the risk right now. We need to figure out what the Combine's next moves are going to be.
If you were to tell me that's just supposed to be young Eli, I would absolutely believe you. That's insane. The Isaac Kleiner one...
Could you perhaps explain in more detail what you're on the verge of finding?
That's... Good God. This is AI generated.
I'd like to take a moment to...
Okay, this Chuck's suck joke with Breen is scary. Robert Culp has been dead for over a decade. This is terrifying.
I'd like to take a moment to address you directly, Dr. Freeman. The sign is a subtle joke. The shop is called Sneed's Feed and Seed, where feed and seed both end in the sound eed, thus rhyming with the name of the owner, Sneed. The sign says that the shop was formerly Chuck's, implying that the two words beginning with F and S would have ended with uck, rhyming with Chuck. So when Chuck owned the shop, it would have been called Chuck's Fuck and Suck.
It's like... It's almost there. Holy crap. And I thought the old GLaDOS stuff was amazing. That's insane. Okay, $5 from McTwitty. Lint is saying, where did I get these $2? It's from 11 Labs. How much training data do you have to give to this thing for it to get that scarily accurate? Okay, your personal feelings on Valve transitioning from a gaming company to a commercial hardware software company. I mean, it's been like that for a decade. My feelings, I wish it didn't happen, but we gotta live with it. Thank you for the $5. We got 2 more lines.
So much violence here now, I regret you have become part of it. And yet I confess I am gladdened by your company.
Who is that?
So much violence here now, I regret you have become part of it. And yet I
Who's that supposed to be? Alright, B. Walker, €5. Do you plan on releasing the VOD of the stream where you react to the documentary? Yes. Is that Grigori? That doesn't sound like Grigori.
So much violence here now, I regret you have become part of it. And yet I confess I am gladdened by your company.
It doesn't sound like Grigori at all.
My name is Dr. Wallace Breen. I'm here to talk to you about a very serious and dangerous matter. Science. Science can be wonderful. It can feed us. It can heal us. But it's also a weapon, and in the wrong hands, human hands. It has been proven deadly. As time passes, truth can be deformed into myth, and myth into lies. So let me reiterate the truth. The arrogant men and women of Black Mesa are directly responsible for the near destruction of our world.
That's the thing I leaked and got in huge trouble for. That's insane. There's another one.
So recently, Project 17 has been released for all to see. For those that haven't been paying attention,
Project 17 is a community-led project attempting to recreate all the assets found in Half-Life 2 in the style of Half-Life Alyx. This means that every single asset from the game has been updated, their poly count has been increased, and the textures have been redone from scratch. The team was also planning to recreate the early sections of Half-Life 2 when Gordon Freeman explores City 17 for the first time, and while all of this sounds great on paper, the DLC, because let's face it, this mod is basically on the same level of quality as an official Valve product, has one major flaw. It ruined the art style. Quote, Project 17 is so bad it completely ruins what Valve was going for. The Half-Life community is so dumb and I'm very smart. Black Mesa is bad, said one Twitter user. It's important to remember that the developers of this free DLC, it's on Game Pass, are human and should be treated as such. But here's their emails in case you want to tell them how much their games suck. LJohnFeetman@yahoo.com. I hope the Project 17 team fixes these issues so that us Half-Life fans can finally enjoy Half-Life 2 as Dario Casali intended. This is Tyler McVicker signing off. Peace and hair grease. Adios.
Wow. Holy shit. Wow. What the fuck? Wow, that's scary, man.
Gordon, you're over half an hour.
Yeah. Someone made an AI that sounds like me, and it scares me. Okay, you don't see the issue of having an AI voice that sounds just like me out in the ether?
Late. Where the fuck have you been?
What?
Gordon, you're over half an hour late. Where the fuck have you been? Do you realize how critical this test is? Half our jobs are on the line, and you fucking waltz in here like it's the weekend. Why don't you take your sorry ass down to the test chamber before I crack your jaw and drag you there myself? Most of the simulation results are perfectly acceptable, you know?
That's insane. That... I don't know how to...
We cannot confirm that the Vector has departed City 17. If he has, the wasteland predators will make quick work of him. But rest assured that we have not relaxed the search in your city. The Combine will do everything in its power to ensure the safety of its citizens. Again, Gordon Freeman represents a vector of chaos and death, an incursion of the insanity and incivility of the world we have tried diligently to put behind us. We are doing everything in our power to arrest and expunge this threat to the promised peace that the Combine has graciously extended to humankind. I exhort all citizens to do everything in their power to help us apprehend the Vector. Report all suspicious activities at once. If you spy Freeman, make no effort to interfere, but summon the nearest agent and activate all available alarms. Every such report is treated with utmost severity, and false alarms may be punishable by immediate execution.
I don't know how to feel about this, but the fact that Breen's speaking voice is kind of monotone as it is. Wow. That's... I want to hear more of this. I want to play around with this.
So recently, Project 7...
I mean, yeah, it's not perfect. When I say so recently, it's so recently, not so recently. So it's a free tool. Like, I could do whatever I want with it. So cool, man. It's not free per se. Oh, I gotta pay for it? I mean, for what you get, that's not terrible. It's called 11 Labs. I'm not gatekeeping the name. Damn, I want to play around with that. Get back on track. Okay, sorry. That's just, I want to...
Damn, bro, you got the whole Combine laughing. I'd like to take a moment to address you directly, Dr. Freeman. The sign is a subtle joke. The shop is called Sneed's Feed and Seed, where feed and seed both end in the sound "eed," thus rhyming with the name of the owner, Sneed. The sign says that the shop was formerly...
Rest in peace, voice actors for mods. Rest in peace, voice. This is nuts. Lint146 with the $2. Thank you very much. Do you plan on releasing the VOD? Okay, I'm caught up. And then we got 5 pounds. What do you have any knowledge of Remnant? Further, do you know if there be any news on... I don't know what any of that... I don't know what that is. Let me Google it real quick. Remnant. I've never heard of this game in my life. All right. That was an interesting tangent, but I'm gonna get back to it. Is id Software's next game being made on id Tech 7 or id Tech 8? I am under NDA with id Software. From Get Lucky in the chat, Dear Tyler, can you name one game that doesn't have a boat in it? Pong. There you go. Any information on the process of porting CSGO to the Source 2 engine? Known leakers such as Game Follower and Aquarius give me the impression of the public release being somewhere in the first quarter of the year. I agree with them. Late first quarter, early second quarter, looks like. Hey Tyler, do you think Valve is going to release a C++ SDK for Source 2 in the future? No. And what do you think about releasing a C++ SDK for Source 2? I think it would be amazing if they did, but they're never going to do it. What's your favorite kind and overall kind of soda? Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is my favorite soda. Dr. Pepper. Why am I under NDA with id? How do you feel about Valve funding pseudo-canon mods for the Half-Life and Portal universes? That'd be amazing. They would never do it, though. Hey, Tyler, now that the Gigaleak has calmed down, what has been your favorite thing that's been found in it? A thing I haven't talked about in a video yet, so I don't talk about it here. TF2 related, though. Do you know if Valve wants Neon Prime to become another ultra-competitive game like CSGO, or light competitive like TF2? It's an interesting question. The game design would probably lean more towards ultra competitive, but I don't know their own intentions because it's a very complex game. When do you believe we'll see id's next game announced? What are the chances of it being a Quake game? Will Neon Prime be playable on the Steam Deck? Absolutely. Is id working on a Quake relaunch like Doom 2016? Overall, what did you think of the Valve doc? I thought it was very well made. Do you think Valve could contact some third parties to help with HLX development? They already have. Do you think the success of the Steam Deck might make them slightly restructure? No, it just means that they're going to keep working on the Steam Deck. Do you think that Citadel will come with its own SDK tools? Yeah. Workshop tools like Half-Life Alyx, but not a full-on SDK. Any new stuff about Neon Prime? The design of the heroes that you play in the game are very Ice Frog. Hey Tyler, have you looked at the new game Minecraft Legends? Yes. It looks okay. It's one of those games that I'm just... If it's not my job to pay attention to it, I'm not going to pay attention to it.
We have 3 announcements we'd like to make here for our loyal fans. The first is that we're shipping a brand new content update for Team Fortress 2. The sex update. For the first time, you can see the mercs getting it out.
Wow. Amazing. Is there any news about the Half-Life 2 Remastered collection? Yeah. I was talking to Philip the other day. It's going great. They hit a snag in the engine development, and they're waiting on Valve to help them out with something, which doesn't normally happen, so it's probably a little bit in stasis right now, but I've been pushing the right people to get shit done. What's up with Neon Prime? Is it still in development? Yes. Will we know something of it soon enough? Depends what you mean soon enough, but yes. If HLX is really Half-Life 3, will it be VR exclusive or flat screen? Both. I know we're a bit away from story details or mechanics, correct, but how's the progress going? Depends on how Neon Prime does. Is Resident still in development? No. Also, I remember something in 2020, a psychotic SDK developer threatening someone at Valve. That is correct. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it anymore, legally. With the release of SpongeBob Cosmic Shake, do you think Nickelodeon and THQ Nordic will release remakes of other Nick games? Probably not. I think they're going to want new stuff. It depends how Cosmic Shake does. Any news on Randy's new album? Randy has gone radio silent for pretty much everybody, including me, until he gets something done on the album. He's been working a lot with video stuff. Visual content creation. Analog stuff. Hope all is well. I hope your Homestar Runner game hunt goes well. Thank you. My question is, the Valve Gigaleak killed Valve's enthusiasm for developing? No. Were there any notable changes in demeanor, productivity, internal rules, etc. since the Valve's leak? No. Is soup still in the kitchen? Yes. I am looking for Gabe Newell's BCI quotes. Where should I start looking? Any particular interviews you know? Yeah, I think it's called Starfish Technologies. Yeah, just Google Gabe Newell Starfish. Starfish Neuroscience. Google Starfish Neuroscience. Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum bum. Have you seen the rework of the engine and creation tools that Despelation has implemented? Real-time lighting, PBR materials, etc. No, I have not. Hope you're doing well. Has there been any news related to Half-Life 2 being ported to Switch? Nope. Anything related to Flip's remastered collection? Just answered that question. Here's a couple of questions. What's your opinion of controversy such as if you play Atomic Heart, you're supporting Russia. If you play Hogwarts Legacy, you're supporting TERFs and anti-Semitism, etc. I mean, the money does go towards those things. So if you think that you vote with your wallet, then that is what's happening. Any general news on big community projects such as TF2 Source and Sandbox? Not really. Valve really doesn't like their franchise assets being in the game. I don't know how that's going to continue with things like TF2 Source 2, but I haven't really spoken to Moonly about that in a while, so I don't know. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does HLX 2? Are there any chance that VR may come back into popularity, or is it 100% dead already? Don't know. When are you going to play HL2 CTF again? I love it so much. It's a shame people aren't playing it regularly. Soon. I'm trying to organize some kind of meeting with the dev team to get things going. Regarding Sony, they stated they didn't cut production for PSVR 2. That's true. They were under forecast. Will we hear anything major from Valve this year? Yes. Steam Deck review soon. Since you love the Half-Life series, why not get into the Metroid series since there are similarities? Are there? What do you think of the Dead Space franchise? I've not played any of them. What do you think of Atomic Heart? Looks interesting. Is there anything new about id Software? I want to see you thrive in 2023, okay, brother? All right. Any interesting news you can tell about the 2077 Phantom Liberty or CDPR in general? Omega's not going to take as long as you think. Will you upload the remaining parts of your Levitation playthrough? Yes. Anything interesting you're looking forward to in 2023 regarding VR? A Medieval. Starfield full playthrough streams? I don't know about that. Maybe. Depends how many people want to see something like that. What current game would you say Neon Prime seems most comparable to based on your findings? Earthbound. Have you watched the video from the guy that's building Portal on the N64? Yep, I'm following it very closely because it looks awesome. Tyler, I've got 2 questions for you. First off, how long do you think Valve will be until it actually changes for the better? it would take the death of multiple higher up people before things change. It's very much over my dead body kind of a situation. And I don't want to wish any ill will on anybody. So honestly, I don't think you should hold your breath for any of that. Secondly, with the success of The Last of Us show, I wonder if other games would like to have show adaptations. It's not going to affect anything on Valve's side, if that's what you're wondering. When do you think we'll get a new content update for CSGO? Whenever Source 2 is done. CS didn't get much content last year, as usual, and it's a bit odd to see him slow down that much. It's because of the Source 2 port. Do you think HLX is not a game, but like a Source 2 engine thing for future Half-Life games and mods? It's possible, yeah. Do you have any news in the Half-Life 2 Remastered collection? Yeah. What happened between you and Crows? William really hated what I did with the TF2 developers in the emails. Have you heard about the Portal 2 leak earlier today? Very much so. Parker Dillon, $10. Give me 2 truths and a lie about Neon Prime and let chat guess. True truth? 2 lies and a truth. Okay. 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 2 lies and a truth. Depending on what hero you play as, your control types and even perspective will change. Meaning, some heroes will allow you to play as first person, and other heroes will allow you to play as third person. The game allows for, and dramatically changes the rule sets for different numbers of people playing, such as 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, all the way up to 16v16, but each type of game is a bit different than the last. Eventually, based on the success of the game, Valve might incorporate other franchises, such as Portal, Team Fortress, and Alien Swarm, into Neon Prime, thus bringing all of those franchises together again. And I'm never going to tell you which one it is. Do you think Neon Prime will be free to play? Nope. Do you know Phantom Liberty may have returning characters from storyline or gig missions? It will. Wolfenstein 3, on hold until Indiana Jones. Have you seen the Mondo Open XR runtime? They have inside-out tracking working on the Valve Index and hand tracking working on a bunch of other videos. I've never heard of this. I'll have to look into it. Random cuts here. Anything juicy that personally went auga at the Valve Gigaleaks? Yeah. Are you really small or is the cup in front of you really big? Both. Someone pissed in my cup. At one point you mentioned making videos about Half-Life lore. I did. I still want to do that. Please, Tyler, I beg you. I can't keep listening to the old Valve Time lore videos. Now I know about Half-Life 3. That picture, was that from Half-Life 3? Yes. $4.99. Since Sakurai honorably left Smash Brothers, will Nintendo remaster old Smash Brothers games? Will they... Okay, here's my policy on Nintendo. Fuck Nintendo. I don't care. Nintendo, no. I love fan projects that Nintendo is related to. I love leaks related to Nintendo, but that's because Nintendo hates that stuff. It's been a while. You may not recognize me, but my usual username was the Midnight Gospel. Oh, I know you. How's your day? Good. How's your mental health currently? Great. How's Electra? Amazing. Is it morally okay to pirate Nintendo games? Yes. Buy a flash cart. Stone Age Gamer. I was wondering if the DoD leak was limited to just maps. Nope, it's everything else. Right? It's got maps, materials, models. All of the games that leaked had maps, materials, models. See any gameplay in Neon Prime? Old stuff from 2018. Not representative. How does Neon Prime have to go for us to get HLX? It needs to be successful. Games need to be successful for more games to happen. Is HLX actually a VR-compatible flat-screen game or vice versa? Both! Do you have any news on Doom projects? Why did Camposanto decide to join Valve when they were actually making games? Because Valve is so, like, you know, alluring. Like, oh my god, laundry, Hawaii, libertarianism. What is the biggest / best thing that came from the Gigaleak that was Half-Life related? The original Combine Elite sources, in my opinion. Anything on the Portal movie? No. When will we be getting any news on the Portal Racing? JK. What do you think Valve will do about the repo leak situation, besides screwing over the leaker? They gave a community ban on Steam to the original leaker, not the person who put it up on Discord. And as far as I can tell, that's all they're going to do. Will they ever let out any repo ever again? Probably. Will they let the leaked content be used by the community in the games? They won't want it to happen, but it'll still happen. I'm thinking of buying a Steam Deck. Is the one with the highest price worth the better case and anti-reflective glass? Or the second version with third-party stuff? So here's the thing. You can buy the cheapest one, and then buy the parts to get the most expensive one for way cheaper. I got the cheapest one, put a hard drive in it, and it's great. News on Jabroni Brawl? It's great, and you can download it. Do you think some of the console exclusives like Silent Hill games will ever get a Steam contract with Valve? Well, that's up to Konami, and Konami's not very great with third-party stuff, so I don't know. And now I'm caught up. I'm caught up, and that only took an hour and a half. Nerdy with 369 AED. You haven't answered my question, lol. Starfield VR, or are they done with VR ports? They're done with VR. I answered every question that was emailed to me. Okay. Let's play a game. Let's quickly play a little bit of a video game. How about that? Ooh, Hugo Martin is my dad? My dad? I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. 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 Was my dad. Was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my motherfucking dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. I wish Hugo Martin was my motherfucking dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. Hugo Martin. I wish Hugo Martin was my motherfucking dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. H-U. H-U. H-U-G-O. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad, son. Hugo Martin was my dad. Hugo Martin was my dad. Was my dad. Was my dad. I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. 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 I wish Hugo Martin was my dad. Do you think Rockstar will be recasting main characters in GTA 6 due to the leak? No. This Friday, I'm playing a Half-Life 1 beta mod with one of the original Half-Life 1 developers to be able to judge its accuracy. Play a video game. Let the video game load. So I'm going to play a little bit of a video game. Y'all can keep sending super chat questions for the next 45 minutes. And that's how we're going to end it off. I'm going to put on some intelligent drum and bass. $1 from NG Boy. NG Boy, more like Genji Boy. Welcome to Pre-Fortress 2, ladies and gents. Ladies and germs. Ladies and worms. Please go download the game. Answering questions, making everybody sweat, making people think about death, answering questions, making people sweat, making people think about death, about their own mortality, about death. I don't have legs. I don't have eggs. I don't have kegs. I don't have legs. Email Q&A is done. I will continue to ask basic questions in the chat, and I will also ask any question asked through Super Chat. Super Chat, of course, supports the channel more than you could possibly imagine, so please think about sending a Super Chat. We are playing Pre-Fortress 2, my favorite source mod,
Next to Open Fortress and Team Fortress 2 Classic. I guess I don't have a favorite. Baptism. Any reason Vancouver? Yeah, but I can't talk about it. NDA. You forgot Bean Boy's other 34 questions? Bean Boy is on thin ice. Bean Boy cannot ask any more questions today because Bean Boy is on thin ice. Are there any playable Half-Life 2 from 1999 builds? Internally at Valve, there's a vertical slice that was shown off to people, yeah. How long until Bean Boy's back on thick ice? You're asking dumb questions. Is Unreal dead forever now that Epic delisted all the games? Yes. Otherwise, tell Hugo Martin to buy the IP. Do you think Hugo Martin has the buying power for entire franchises? That's €5 from Hubbles. Who's also got SpongeBob. Likes Patrick more than SpongeBob. Hey, SpongeBob! Hubbles, do you think Hugo Martin could buy the Unreal franchise, SpongeBob? Can you tell Hugo? Please. You could just buy Unreal on eBay. Floatplane and Patreon will be getting a frick ton of content very, very soon. I'm going to be doing a pretty massive content drop on those sites within the month. I've been working on getting all that stuff together. But I'm also going to be publishing everything else on Patreon so that the people that don't like Patreon can support me on Floatplane. $10 Canadian from Calcium. Okay, but for real, Tyler, where is your Giftopia video? You're totally 100% working on it. I promised my dog that Wednesday we'd watch it together. I don't even know what Giftopia is. Is that Nintendo GameCube game that recently got an English translation? Also, why do I know that? And I'm not making a video about it. Who's my favorite class in Pre-Fortress? I don't know. The dynamics of all of these classes are way different. What's your opinion on the iteration of Half-Life 3 that got canceled? It would have been amazing. Jeff Keighley saw that shit. I'm not used to conch jumping just yet. Remember Fortress Forever? When is the cut content of Half-Life Alyx Episode 2 releasing? Valve asked me to not make those anymore. Are those Death Sounds original? Yeah. Damn it. The timing is off. I'm terrible at that.
Hello.
Damn it.
Is that the real time?
No. Tell him no.
That's the little guy?
No.
need to ask some rapid to the Nintendo News Network. That shit just went bust.
Is it worth getting a Steam Deck? 1000%, yes.
Get out of here. I don't think the scout gets the memo. They never do. Scouts never get the memo.
I know nothing about the Metal Gear Solid series, I'm sorry. Crazy Dave with the headshot. If you could fix Valve in 3-way structurally, how could you change it? No stacked ranking? Not hiring only juniors? Have a maximum amount of time you can work at Valve without shipping a game.
Oh, where did this man come from?
Did you email late? Yeah, unfortunately you did. Damn it. I'm gonna try and do letting off steam every other week, so in 2 weeks. No, I mean they have to ship a product. Like there'd be a system where it's like if you've been working here for longer than 15 years and 3 different teams that you worked, like 2 or 3 different projects you worked on fell through, get out of here.
Nah, it's not. It's a fake. Guy. I wish.
He's streaming right now. He's doing the exact same.
Nah, it's a fake. It's a fake. You wanna know why? Because we would have heard it before. I would honestly love. Yeah, but nobody's gonna believe that he's streaming. Nobody's gonna believe it. It's fake, but nobody. Unless you got real evidence, like a leak or something.
What is this guy doing? What is this guy on about? Damn it. Do I use my index a bit? No. Can you make the music a bit quieter? No. Music louder? No. Damn it. fucked that up.
I killed
It is
Tyler!
It's not Tyler, I'm telling you. You're literally just giving him attention. I wish, man, but... Like...
€2. What's your favorite gold source or source console command? rlod0.
If they're in a server this...
rlod0.
Why would they connect here to a server that... This server was dead. No, that wouldn't make any sense.
Can you make a video exclusively on canceled Half-Life 3 projects? I'd love to. Would you work on a magazine if they were still around? I don't know. If it was the 90s, absolutely. Nowadays, probably not. When's the Neon Prime video coming out? When it's done?
Hey, Red, you guys not see Sentry right here? Does it blend in? Hey, Tyler, we know you. Why did you shut down the tylernewsnetwork? Bring it back, man. I want to learn about the development of warrior books. Hey, medic, come to cover out.
What feature would you want to implement into the Steam Deck? Some kind of integrated mod loader, like a Vortex or MO2. How much beauty sleep you gonna get? I sleep 9 hours, I think. I go to bed pretty early, all things considered.
That is hella suspicious. Yo, did you guys see that? Oh, what do you think? That is hella suspicious. Hey, Red, you might want to check your sniper. That shot that he just hit on me was very suspicious.
What is this fucking guy on?
Like, I was literally next to my gun. By the window.
Somebody's gonna want somebody dead.
Classic song.
Not stop. That hurt my soul, man. That shit hurt my soul, brother. I keep hearing somebody call out spy. Who is that?
That's a beta thing, yeah. Shell's name being, what it would be, Celestine? That's a beta thing. That's not a canon thing. Her name is Chell. That's her full name.
What's my stick? Hey, medic, you might want some stick for me? Idiot.
Not her canon name.
Don't turn around.
That was information that was found in a leaked texture file. That's not a canon thing. Can we change the maps?
There you go. Slow down, father. You want to protect what? You need time to protect. Oh, brother.
What was missing from the 2003 Valve League? About 2/3 of the maps.
But this is not for me. This game is like more crowded than a classic, than a people classic. This is not crowded. You've seen it. I remember before, I always see like dev team playing. It was not the devs.
Good night.
It was
How many map makers are at Valve? Well, the term is level designers, and many. Dozens.
those are the days. Oh, this so. I like it. I can get. Hey Angie, you might want to move that thing up.
Portal 3. Eric Wolpon wants to make it. He might get the chance. If I had access to do dev console in real life, what would I enter? I would want to make it so I don't have to worry about money anymore, so I could just focus on making cool shit all the time. Without having to worry about view count or money.
Oh shit. Didn't want to go through.
It sounds like you want UBI and healthcare. That'll get me death threats. What would be my special stats if I was Fog character? How many points does a person get? If we're going by New Vegas standards, vanilla New Vegas.
What the hell is happening? Put a gas grenade in here. Get it out. Yeah, why? I have a big
35 total.
over here. Think it'll do you any good. Hey Doc, I think it would be useful. Yeah, there you go. So you don't get that scope on your head. Go on me instead. Like this.
It'd be 522-8827.
Oh god, I'm not being harassed by a sniper. Do you have any manners? Where are your manners? Please, want them. There you go. So you're losing weight? No, you're not. Buddy, I have
Tyler, are you about to fall asleep? Yes. What time is it? Oh, it's about that time.
Call the police. They're hacking. They're hacking. They're hacking.
Call the police! It's the purge! Call the fucking popo!
time do you usually go to sleep? I go to sleep around 9, 8:30 to 9. Or at least I try to. And then I get up at like 4 or 5. And that's for mental health purposes. My mental health has been way better than it used to be. Mostly because I've got my sleep schedule under control. I started like microdosing melatonin instead of just taking like entire grams. I take entire milligrams. Like I take tiny doses of melatonin every day. Tyler, I live in Mexico. The stream is 240p and you're made of 10 pixels. Do I have ADHD? I'm on the spectrum. If that's what you're wondering. Yeah. Damn. I try and go on walks, but it's really cold outside. You have to take gabapentin to sleep? I take gabapentin for panic disorder. Yeah. Gabapentin's no joke, man. It's your brain. Oof. Would Vancouver or Ohio be better for weather? Oh, it's just, I have a lot of opportunities lined up in Vancouver right now, and Ohio and America just scares the shit out of me the longer I live here. Like, I know Canada's not that great, but compared to America, it's fucking Candyland. Are we still live? Are we still here? Oh, I'd love to meet Nordlar. Are you kidding? Alright. I'm gonna go. I hope this was a fun stream for y'all. I'll try and make an edit for the main channel. I hope you guys had fun. I know I did. This was a good one. You guys are really cool. I appreciate it. The VOD should be directly watchable, but it will be unlisted, so just make sure that you're looking at the playlists on the YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Thanks for being cool. I appreciate it. And I hope that y'all have a good whatever, you know? Time Travel Show comes back on my birthday, which is February 7th. So, bye everybody.